This man is Noya Zinin, special grade 1 sorcerer and as arrogant as they come. He walks with his attendant, worrying about the situation with the head of the clan at the moment and also Maki, who is dying, although that part doesn't worry him much. He is surprised to learn this from his attendant, since Maki is pretty, but he doesn't accept her because she doesn't know how to support a man. She is too independent and, on top of that, doesn't have any cursed energy. This misogynistic sorcerer wants a woman who walks 3 steps behind a man, and any woman who can't do it should be stabbed in the back and die. The woman is speechless, knowing what this piece of trash thinks about women. He finally enters the elder's space and also remembers Maki's sister, who was great in that aspect since she was spineless. They shared the same face, and Maki is just a bit curvier than her sister. But no matter how tough she acts in the end, she is a woman. He then greets both of the elders waiting on him. One is a wizened samurai with a blade strapped to his hip, and the other is a grizzled man with spiky hair and wrinkles on his face. The samurai is Ogi Zinin, also a special grade 1 sorcerer. He asks Noya where he has been and why he is late. The grizzly man with scars and spiky hair is Jinchi Zinin, a special grade 1 sorcerer as well. Oji reminds Noya that his father is at death's door, and he is here prancing around like a pony with not a hint of remorse or sadness. He apologizes and also reminds them that it doesn't matter if he comes here or not, since it's already decided that he will be the next head of the Zinin clan. He squints his eyes as if cementing the fact that he is the head of the clan's brother and all of his older brothers are losers. His uncles haven't amounted to anything despite sharing his father's blood, and his daughter is out of the question since obviously she is a woman. And if they talk about Jinchi, then he outright tells the veteran that his face is not good for the Zinin clan's public image, and he feels bad that he didn't have the killer looks Toji possessed. Noya sighs, saying if only they had their positions reversed. A trail of lightning blazes within the room as Jinchi springs into action, brandishing his fist and ready to bash his pretty boy face in. Noya is not fazed in the slightest. He just looks at the incoming blow and also at the incoming sword, thanks to Oji. Oji curtly reminds him that his father is at death's door. But Noya just smirks, teasing them that they should just get along since they are all special great sorcerers. A voice interrupts their little tough love, telling everyone to get seated. A wizened old man arrives with a face wrinklier than a raisin. He explains that Master Nobito Zinin, the previous head of the Zenin clan, has passed away. Ogi is conflicted and sad over the passing away of his master. Noya just smirks. He doesn't care that his daddy is dead. All he cares about is getting the head seat. Jinchi falls silent and waits for the old man to reveal more details. The newcomer explains that he is a sorcerer lawyer, and he is here to tell them the late head's will. According to Master Nobito's wishes, he is here to read his will, which states that when Oji Zinin, Jinchi Zinin, and Noya are all present, he has to reveal who the next head will be. With no further objections from the trio, he gets on with reading the will. According to the will, the 27th head of the Zenin clan is to be Noya Zinin. He is to get all of the assets, including the cursed tools stored in the Tokyo Prefecture, Jujutsu High School, and the Zenin family cursed warehouses. Upon approval by either Oji Zenin or Jinchi Zenin, Noya will take over the duties. Noya is a little ticked off that he will have to get the approval of both of these dried-up sorcerers to get what is rightfully his. But when the lawyer says, however, his ears perk up. The old man continues that if Satoru Gojo dies or becomes mentally incapacitated, then, following a written agreement with Toji Fushiguro, they have to welcome Megumi Fushiguro into the Zenin clan, where he will become the new head of the Zenin clan. In a dark and ominous voice, he concludes that Megumi will inherit all the assets. He looks at Noya as if challenging him to refuse the will. The look on Noya's face is priceless. His eyes are about to pop out of their sockets, and he is on the verge of a stroke. He knows both of the men are weak, so they will probably know to go for Megumi over him since he will be easier to get along with. The attendant hears her master ask where Megumi is and what he is doing right now. She doesn't know all the details, but the latest report reveals that he is in Tokyo looking for Yuji Itadori. Naoya asks who Itadori is. She replies that he is Sukuna's current vessel. He walks away from the room defeated but not yet broken. He tells the attendant to tell the higher-ups that Noya Zinin will kill Sukuna's vessel in an attempt to get merit. And as for Megumi, he must be where Sukuna's vessel is, so why not kill both birds with a single stone? He decides to kill them both. The veins around his eyes burn with fury and hatred swirling within him because Tokyo has become a realm of demons. And according to him, it doesn't matter when or how people die. He will work it out after he kills them and worry about the cover-up story later. After all, he refuses the will and proclaims himself as head of the Zinin clan. The city is draped in darkness and silence. A lone woman stands there apologizing for not acting sooner. The situation has reached a critical point where she thought that she should just temporarily keep an eye on things. A voice asks her if she has realized that she might not be on their side. She replies that she is just a humble beauty who wants to kill as many cursed spirits as possible from the world, and she wants to apologize as well to her comrades and take responsibility for delivering those kids who were there. She is also about to confront Tenjin-sama. The plot thickens as she vows to confront the literal embodiment of God in the Jujutsu world. Some figure sits on the steps of a train station, desperate, bruised, and heartbroken. Choso walks up to his little brother, asking how his injuries are and how he is doing. He tells Choso that he is doing well somehow despite being hit by a black flash, the hardest technique to pull off in the Jujutsu world, and the one that packs the most firepower. He thinks that it's because of Sukuna's influence, but he knows that his strength is glowing and growing. Choso squints his eyes and tells Itadori not to worry about him. He just needs to return to Jujutsu High and collect the remains of Choso and the others on the way. Itadori tells Choso that he is not worried about him. He should stand proud because he is strong. But the problem lies in whether he wants to return or not. He knows that Sukuna is plotting something that probably involves Megumi. He remembers Sukuna going out of his way to save Megumi and also smirking and talking about him. The literal embodiment of evil wouldn't save anyone out of the goodwill of his heart. He is probably waiting and plotting something involving him, and besides, he has also killed a lot of people. He remembers Sukuna smirking and asking him what if you save someone today, and they end up killing someone else in the future. He cracks his knuckles in desperation because he can no longer stay with anyone. He doesn't trust anyone. He asks Choso if he is fine with it. After all, he is responsible for killing his little brothers, the two abominations sharing the cursed womb. Without missing a beat, Choso tells him that it's fine. It doesn't matter anyway because that was a misunderstanding. And if Iso and Kichizu were in his place, they would say the same. Choso helps Itadori feel a little better, telling him that it's not about forgiving or not forgiving, it's just that brothers are built like that. Even if they kill each other out of a misunderstanding, it's fine. Since blood runs thicker than water, feeling a little better, Itadori gets up and tells his older brother to go. Right now, they have to take care of as many cursed spirits as possible. It's a one-way ticket to cursed spirit annihilation. The gears are turning, and Itadori and Choso are ready to cleanse Tokyo of the accursed spirits plaguing it. Meanwhile, Noya Zinin is making his way towards Tokyo, not in an attempt to clear the city of cursed spirits as he should, but to rid the world of Sukuna's vessel and take out Megumi as a bonus. Yuta is also springing into action, ready to confront Itadori as if he were the root of all the problems plaguing the modern Jujutsu Kaisen world. The skyline is as dark as an abyss, as the whole city is swallowed by silence. A lone man stands there clapping his hand, breaking the silence and challenging all the demonic beasts to come get a piece of him. With these sacred hands, Yuji Itadori challenges anyone who dares to approach him. He claps his hands again, looking around and unfazed about what is about to happen. He continues clapping over and over again until the whole city reverberates with his claps. He focuses his eyes on an emerging shape as numerous cursed beasts arrive right behind him, ready to challenge him and bring an end to his clapping. Yuji Itadori is unfazed because these are the creatures he's been looking for all this time. He's even glad that they're finally here. As soon as the creatures pounce on him, he makes a break for it. The cursed spirits are grotesque blobs of flesh with fangs, horns and eyes, and too many appendages for a single organism. Itadori sprints, and other cursed spirits join in. One looks like a disfigured flying squirrel, and the other one is a straight-up abomination with a flaming skull. Just as Itadori is about to make a break for it, a disfigured humanoid curse blocks his path and slams into the asphalt in front of him. Instead of stopping and confronting it, he just slides between its legs. Yuji Itadori knows that he can't break the pace, and he can't be caught by this stampede of curses that want to gobble him up whole. The curses are furious about how hard Itadori is to catch. They're trying their best to get him and swallow him without even chewing. Itadori continues to run as more and more curses join in the fun, until there's a whole parade following him at a jogging pace. Just as one of the demonic beasts is about to catch up with him, Yuji Itadori slides out of the way and yells out to his brother Choso that everything is ready and he should get on with it. The dark silhouette standing at the end of the hallway just smiles because he knows what to do. He remembers the plan well. He claps his hands together, but unlike Itadori's claps, these hands are not just for show, but for eradication. With a single stoic gaze fixated on the monsters in front of him, he calls out, "Piercing blood." A target appears around the monster's head, and a single beam of blood shoots from Choso's hands, piercing all of the monsters in a single go and bringing an end to their trashy, pitiful existence. The whole city vibrates with the aftershocks of that attack. The steam rises from the station, and one of the demonic monsters, the flying squirrel, manages to get away and await the blow. Choso doesn't even bother turning and decides to aura farm instead, calling out to Itadori to deal with this rodent. Itadori punches the flying squirrel in the face, smashing the wall in the process, and vandalizes the wall with the creature's blood. Steam curls off his hand as his physical power is growing by the day. He can now level a building with a single blow, and Choso finds it impressive. He always thought that his brother was wrong, and from the impression from when they fought all those months ago, he knew that he was in a league of his own. But now he is even more skilled. He can effortlessly control his cursed energy, something Itadori struggled to do before. And on top of that, he has abnormal strength. Yuji Itadori is shaping up to be the new king of curses, though he is not fully recovered. He is glad that Itadori is his little brother. Itadori, on the other hand, doesn't share that sentiment and asks why he is calling him little brother again. Choso, without batting an eye, reminds Itadori that he will call him little brother as many times as it takes for him to remember that his father's forehead must have stitches as well. Itadori wonders, but their little bromance is interrupted by Noya, who is busy aura farming over a reeling. He looks up the gaping hole in the wall where Itadori smashed a monster and wonders why Megumi is not here. It looks like he is the first to arrive. He looks around and calls Megumi trash of the Zenin clan, since he can't even catch up to his friend. Both the cursed Wum brothers look at the newcomer in surprise, wondering why he is talking about their friend Fushiguro. Noya Zenin wonders how it ended up like this and what's taking Megumi so long. He also wonders why Itadori is making so much noise. Is he not afraid of bounty hunters? Is he not afraid of sorcerers coming his way and putting an end to Sukuna's vessel? Is he not afraid of death? So why is he not running away? To Itadori, the concept of running is foreign. That word just doesn't exist in his dictionary, and he also wonders why he should run. Noya Zenin reminds him that there's an execution order being issued on his head. Now that Satoru Gojo is no longer the pillar he leaned on, Choso grits his teeth in frustration and anger. How dare anyone lay a hand on his little bro? Noya still rides his high horse and tells Itadori that there are a lot of sorcerers who were saved by Gojo Satoru. But the ones he's looking for today are Megumi Zenin, who should be his name, and Itadori Yuji. He tries to be gracious to Itadori, telling him to make a choice. Instead of dying today, he can just have his legs snapped off and get on with his day. Itadori looks at this crash of a man, yapping non-stop, and with a hint of annoyance, asks what business does he have with Fushiguro. Noya smirks and tells Itadori that he just wants him dead, but not before he gives Noya some sort of written agreement to hand over the leadership and the throne of the Zenin clan to him, as well as the assets, the cursed objects, and the instruments at Jujutsu High. Itadori Yuji realizes that this man is anything but a friend. He is their enemy and they have to square up to defend Megumi. But right now, Noya is outside of their pay scale and skill set. Without them even noticing his presence, he lands behind them. He reminds Itadori that Megumi has been looking for him all over. Itadori can only think about how fast he is before being slapped across the face multiple times. Choso tries to stand up for his brother. After all, he is a cursed womb and a skilled sorcerer as that. But no matter how skilled he is, he can't hold a candle to the prodigy of the Zenin clan. Just as Choso is about to clap his hands together to whip out his signature move, Piercing Bullet, Noya slams his elbow between his hands, stopping him from clapping his hands together. At the same time, he wipes the floor with Itadori and blocks his blow, even teleporting away so that both of the brothers strike each other. Itadori and Choso stop a few inches away from each other. Noya is entertained by their desperate attempt at stopping him. Itadori wipes the blood from his face. He tells Choso that Noya is too fast for them to catch up, and Choso tells Itadori that it might have something to do with this technique. After all, no human can be this fast. Noya is also a little more impressed than when he started. It looks like he underestimated Sukuna's vessel. For the vessel, he understands that this kind of performance is expected, but he wonders who is Choso. Noya is running out of patience. He needs to get his throne back from that deadbeat and reclaim what is rightfully his. He decides to speed things up. They are in a Mexican standoff, and all three of the sorcerers' eyes widen in surprise. They freeze as an ominous aura surrounds them, bringing their blood to a standstill and making their heart beat faster. Itadori whirls around, wondering if it's Gojo, but he soon realizes it's something far more ominous, far worse than the six-eyed user. Instead of the familiar comforting, cursed energy, he finds a wall of dread waiting for him and glaring daggers at him. Yuta arrives at the party, holding his signature blade, looking down at Itadori and asking why he is not alone. This makes things trickier, but he still has a one-track mind to use his blade to bring Sukuna's vessel to an early end. Yuta has joined the fray with the blade in his hand and murderous gleam in his eyes. He is a Jujutsu High second-year student and also a disciple of Gojo Satoru. As fate would have it, Gojo Satoru's older disciple is now on a hunt for his youngest one. Speaking of Yuji Itadori, he's sweating in his boots, wondering who the hell he is to bear such a pressure and overwhelming aura just like Gojo's. Even Choso is alarmed, and him being a death painting speaks a lot. Whoever this newcomer is, he's anything but good news. Just when everyone is trying to figure out who this mysterious figure is, a loud bang interrupts their train of thought. With a single step, Yuta leaps from the railing and slams into the asphalt, cracking it like an egg and sending rubble flying everywhere. The immense display of power visibly shakes both Itadori and Choso. They were not expecting such a dainty teen to have such a dominating physical power. Yuta decides that this is the best moment to Aura Farm. He looks at the three of them and asking who Itadori Yuji is. When no one replies, he wonders what if they have wax in their ears, as he's not going to repeat his question. Noya realizes that he is Itadori's designated executioner. Fearing for his life and not to be mixed up with Itadori, he holds out his hand telling Yuta to wait a moment. He clears the air that he is on his side and also recognizes him as Okatsu Yuta, Gojo's oldest disciple, and second-grade student at Jujutsu High, the one Megumi mentioned. A special grade sorcerer just like Gojo. Yuta, with the hint of annoyance, asks Noya who the hell is he. Noya introduces himself as part of the Zenin clan and also Maki's cousin, and just like him he's also been told to kill Itadori. Choso whispers, telling Itadori to run away while he can. Itadori still doesn't grasp the gravity of the situation. While the Death Painting brothers are figuring out their next mode of action, Yuta tells Noya that he shouldn't worry because he won't interfere in his matters. Choso tells Itadori that the golden-haired boy is a speedster. He uses some trick with his cursed energy to play a deadly game of tag. They can't run away from him, so he will hold him off as long as he can. Itadori doubts that his brother can hold up Noya, who absolutely wiped the floor with them just 5 seconds earlier. He asked Choso if he would really be okay, and Choso tells Itadori that he should be fine because he's not Noya's target. Since Noya will be targeting Itadori, it will be easy to rile him up and hold him off. He also secretly doesn't want Itadori to fight that sorcerer, and he also doesn't want to make Itadori feel that his older brother is unreliable or inferior to that sorcerer. He tells Itadori that he just needs to run away from the black-haired sorcerer Yuta, because he can feel that he is the same type as Gojo. He will die in a second if he decides to square up and throw hands. Choso is annoyed by how the circumstances are evolving. Naoya is pleased now that he has a powerful ally backing him up. He can finally carry out his plans of vengeance and taking over the Zenin clan. However, he decides to keep the part of murdering Megumi and forcing him to transfer the assets a secret from Yuta for now. He says that even if Yuta kills Itadori, it's the same for him, so he just wants to keep it a secret from the higher-ups that he is here. He also wants to use Itadori as bait to meet someone. The only reason he's keeping that part out is that Yuta's presence makes his blood freeze. Choso tells Itadori to run away while he can, and they will meet up at the spot they spent yesterday. Yuta is also springing into action, telling Noya to leave the other one for him and take care of Choso. All 4 of the sorcerers spring into action simultaneously. Choso clapping his hands together ready to spray everyone who dares lay a hand on his little bro. Noya is smiling like a narcissistic crackhead ready to get his plan on the road and be the next head of the Zenin clan. Yuta, for whatever reason, locking in on Itadori, ready to slice him in half. Before Choso can block them off, Itadori bolts and Noya slides towards Choso, kicking him in the chest and letting Yuta go after Itadori. Yuta is close behind Itadori, who can't believe that he's as fast as him, who has always been abnormally strong. To make matters worse, Yuta is keeping up with him while holding a drawn sword. Yuta is also surprised to learn that he's fast. He planned to crush him the moment they started running. He also wanted to block Choso, but Choso made a good guess of his plan. Speaking of Choso, his technique has been blocked by Noya once again, who prevented him from clapping and grabbed his hair and started bashing his head in with his fist. Blood sputters everywhere, drenching his wrists and his cloak. Noya just shakes it off and relishes the battle. He remembers how Choso's technique works and has figured out that he's a blood manipulator. Choso stumbles and Noya is not sure why he has such a cursed technique when he seems so anemic. Other than piercing blood, there's nothing he needs to be afraid of. After all, the power that he wields, piercing blood, needs a certain recharge time, so while it recharges he is basically a walking punching bag. Noya grins and spreads his hands, challenging Choso to do whatever he can to hold him off. He has already reached the conclusion that he is the victor of the fight, even telling Choso this is checkmate for him. He's going to die and this place will be his burial ground. Choso would rather die than let him lay a hand on Itadori. He locks in and tells Noya that he won't be able to return home safely after putting his hands on his little brother. Their battle is not a show of strength but a clash of wills. One is fighting to claim leadership of his clan and his assets, and the other one is fighting to save his little brother, even if it costs him his life. Speaking of the troublesome little brother, Itadori runs towards a flipped car and slides over it. Yuta doesn't try to mimic his parkour. He just slides next to Itadori, blade in hand and swinging it at the car. Itadori manages to dodge it by the breadth of his hair. He flips behind the car and punches it straight into Yuta's face. Yuta's eyes widen in surprise. He was expecting Itadori to be sliced in half already. He wonders if he is just like Maki, a physical type. Itadori doesn't bother answering. The only way he'll be answering his questions is through his fists right now. Yuta's eyes widen in horror as a car slams into his frail frame. Itadori has realized that he cannot run away from him. The best thing is to block his visibility with the car and then get indoors. He tries to run towards a nearby building, but finds a Mercedes-Benz soaring over his head and blocking his escape route. Itadori can't believe that Yuta just flipped the car as if it were a Hot Wheels model. Yuta takes a step towards Itadori, reading his mind. He doesn't seem to be a power type. Now does he? Even Itadori has no answers to that question. He doesn't seem to be a power type, but his cursed energy is off the charts. It's straight up monstrous. Itadori tries to figure out Yuta's secret, and Yuta says that it's true that he's weak. He compensates for his lack of physical power by using cursed energy to strengthen his body. Itadori realizes that Yuta is the complete opposite of him. While Itadori is a power type that has limited cursed energy but monstrous physical strength, Yuta has no hands to spare and a frame so frail that it could be blown away by the wind, but his cursed energy turns him into an absolute monster. Yuta realizes that Itadori has been thinking about his cursed energy reserves, and reveals that his quantity is more than Satoru Gojo's. Itadori is shocked to learn that. Yuta further explains that Gojo has 6 eyes on his side. With that technique, he can activate any cursed technique and the loss of cursed energy is close to 0. In terms of performance, Gojo really is the number 1 as he can run out of cursed energy, but it won't happen to Gojo. Yuta steadies his blade. The cursed energy swirling around him surges, and he tells Itadori that that is the end of their conversation, and perhaps his existence as well. In a split second, he's zooming towards Itadori and the blade is just inches away from Itadori's eyes. Itadori leaps back and wonders if this is seriously happening. He remembers Todo telling him that the higher the rank of the sorcerer, the more difficult it is to read their movement due to their cursed energy flow. In case of a 3rd grade sorcerer, the cursed energy will be concentrated around the fist he's about to swing, but in case of a 1st grade sorcerer, the cursed energy will be wrapped around his body like an exoskeleton, difficult to read and with no fluctuations. But that is not the case of what is happening over here. Itadori tanks the blow and slides to a halt. This person has so much cursed energy rising around him that it's impossible to read where he is going to swing. Instead of a thin exoskeleton, it's like he's standing in a dust storm made of cursed energy. It's not a matter of whether he can predict it or not. All his attacks are decisive as they're meant to kill, not maim, and the damage Yuta receives is suppressed to the minimum. He remembers Gojo telling him that he leaves the rest to him. Desperate to fulfill his sensei's wish, he apologizes to Yuta because he can't afford to die just yet. Both sorcerers continue their deadly dance to the bitter end. Cars are overturned around them, and the windows of the nearby buildings are shattered due to their clashes. Yuta swings again and Itadori manages to dodge it by the breadth of his hair once again. But Yuta follows it up with another strike. His strikes are getting sharper and more precise. Yuta has locked in for real. This strike grazes Itadori's cheek, drawing blood. Itadori realizes that he needs to do something about that troublesome katana. As long as he can fortify his body with cursed energy, he doesn't need to fear blades. He remembers fighting a fellow sorcerer who wielded a blade and tanked that blade with no worries. But if he tries to do this with Yuta, he'll be mincemeat before he can save Mississippi. He rushes towards the G-Wagon and slides into the broken window. Itadori spots something lying on the passenger seat, grabs it and slides out of the four-wheeler. Yuta is close on his trail, leaping from the hood and swinging his blade again at Itadori. But this time, instead of cutting into his flesh, sparks fly everywhere, illuminating their faces. Yuta is surprised to see Itadori holding a hunting knife. He wonders where he got that knife from. Looking at the four-wheeler he slid out of, Yuta realizes that he must have gotten it from that SUV. It must be a survival hunting knife or something. If it's not a special cursed tool, he doesn't need to worry about it. Itadori has other plans for this knife. He imbues it with cursed energy and swings it at Yuta, finally switching from defensive to offensive. After all, the best offense is a good defense. He continues to swing wildly and Yuta parries each blow with pinpoint precision. Itadori is not scared to close in. He is trying to close the distance between them to make it harder for Yuta to swing his foot-long katana. He is also imbuing the knife with cursed energy to make it into a makeshift cursed tool. He remembers Gojo lecturing him about this type of weapon and recommending that he train with weapons. It's not good to rely on cursed tools because that will be neglecting cursed energy control. So if he is not ready for something like this, he should use knives to slaughter demons in an emergency. Who knew that instead of slaughtering demons with the knife, he would be defending his life against a monster wielding a cursed katana? Sparks fly everywhere with each clash. Yuta swings again and Itadori manages to block the blade with a horizontal stance. With sparks flying and cursed energies clashing, his knife starts to cave in. Yuji's eyes widen in surprise and he grits his teeth in horror because he hasn't learned it well enough yet. Yuta tells him that he is too focused on his katana. He slides his katana across the length of the knife, disarming him and kicking him in the gut. That move came out of nowhere. At this point, Yuta is ready to play dirty if it means completing his mission. Itadori pukes a little. Even a little forward kick has knocked the air out of his lungs. Itadori gets ready to receive Yuta's slash again, but this time it shatters his blade and creates a long, deep wound across his chest. Blood spills everywhere and Itadori stumbles. He lets go of the knife and blocks Yuta's blade with his foot, punching the blade with his other fist and breaking it in half. Yuta's eyes widen because he was not expecting Itadori to react so fast after being sliced in half. He slides back and looks at his katana. It's only half of its usual length. He can't believe that he broke it. But that is what he expected of Sukuna's vessel and Gojo's latest pupil. This was never going to be easy. With renewed vigor and hope, Itadori clenches his fist, trying to close the distance between them. His wound is deep but not deep enough to let his gut spill. Since they are both unarmed, he is going to let him get a taste of these sacred hands. Before he can bash his emo face in, a huge hand grabs his head. A monster appears out of the abyss, a skeletal skull with no eyes or nose, and big girthy arms resembling those of a bodybuilder. Itadori freezes, wondering what's going on. Even though he has been hunting creatures like this all his life, this one is different. He can feel it in his bones. Its presence is so overwhelming that it makes it hard to breathe. Itadori feels as if his blood is freezing within his veins. Yuta addresses the monstrosity, calling it Rika and telling her that they are just playing. Itadori looks at Rika, wondering if it's a Shinigami, and where the hell did it come from? He can't move because it's too strong and he was supposed to be the physical monster. It seems like their deadly game of tag has come to an end with Itadori being jumped by a monster twice his size and beyond his understanding. Yuta grabs his blade and gently stabs Itadori through the chest. Itadori's eyes widen in surprise and horror. Globules of blood shoot out of his chest and Yuta apologizes for what it's worth, calling Itadori's name for the last time. His eyes hollow, expressionless and perhaps full of resentment and remorse. Sukuna sits on top of his malevolent shrine. Even he straightens and his eyes widen, but surprisingly, instead of worrying, he just smiles. Is this part of his grand scheme of things? Is this within his expectations, or does he have a plan to save his vessel? Meanwhile, Choso is having the fight of his life against Noya. He grits his teeth in frustration and tries to spot Noya, who's playing hide and seek. In the next moment, Noya appears right next to him. In the blink of an eye, he punches Choso in the chest and through a couple of pillars, knocking the air out of his lungs. Today is not a good day for the Death Womb brothers. Choso realizes that he's fast, and he has no idea what kind of curse technique he's been using. Noya is overwhelming him and he's not the type to disclose his technique just because he has the upper hand. Choso decides to forget about figuring out his technique. Right now he can't even control the blood inside or outside of his body. Piercing blood bullet is out of the equation for now. Naoya is curious about why he is so tough. He doesn't seem to be a human or a regular out-of-the-mill sorcerer. Choso tells him that he's the oldest of 10 siblings. Strange markings appear on Choso's face as he decides to activate the flowing blood scales technique. Will this technique help him to fend off Noya and go after Itadori, or will it all end in failure and he will end up just like Itadori? Thanks for watching. Check out this next video and remember to subscribe and zap.